Pipeline explosion in West Virginia cited by opponents of Mountain Valley Pipeline. All right, so let's see. This is from July 18th. So what exactly happened here? Because I was not privy to this when it happened. An explosion of a natural gas pipeline in West Virginia was triggered by the same conditions, steep slopes prone to landslides that exist along the route of the Mountain Valley Pipeline, a conservation group is warning. Works on the Mountain Valley Project, which is cutting a swath through the mountains of southwest Virginia, should be suspended, pending a review of the potential danger of a similar explosion, the Indian Creek Watershed Association wrote in a request filed Tuesday with the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission. On June 7th, the newly constructed Lac Express pipeline in Marshall County, West Virginia, ruptured and exploded into a ball of flames. Oh, yeah, okay, shit, all right. I remember that, okay. All right, I see what's going on. I thought this was like a new actual explosion. It just turns out they're doing all the same things to get them into the same issue. Okay, I do remember when that happened. I'm pretty sure we talked about it on the show. All right. Oh, environmental disasters are just so common here. You just, you can't separate them all. Oh, man, was that water well being in danger? Was that last week or this week? I can't keep track. It's like a new single on the radio, which I don't listen to the radio. So that was probably a really bad analogy, because I think they play new stuff on the radio every great now and again. And it's usually just the same 10 songs homogenized into a playlist. That will make you feel like you're living in a live George Orwell novel. Last time I listened to the radio was like 2011. I had this like temp job at a warehouse, and they would just have the radio being piped in all day. And freaking drove me nuts. The similarities of the terrain, particularly the prevalence... Okay, so they're saying why this is all the same. And although pipeline opponents have been raising environmental concerns about erosion from construction sites in recent months, they say it's time to address issues of public safety before the project begins. Yeah, it's an accident waiting to happen. So basically, this pipeline is going through similar structures to the other pipeline that burst. And why did that pipeline burst? Well, because of these certain structures, and you're doing the same thing. If you ever want to deny yourself a night of sleep or more, talk to somebody that has experience in policy with a science background. Or just talk to somebody in the science world and ask, hey, is our government making sure we're going to be okay? They'll laugh at you. They will laugh in your face. Even my cousins, my one cousin he's a biomedical engineer. He went to Johns Hopkins. He's a freaking genius. His political views are a little more moderate. He's middle of the road on a lot of stuff, even leaning to the right on some things. When you talk about science, though, he is a huge freaking lefty because he knows, he's like, yeah, they don't listen to us. They don't freaking listen to us. Nothing we're doing is safe or okay. Nothing. And when I was at the Convergence conference, I talked to this woman who had a science background and was working in like DC policy institutes for her entire career. And she came to the Convergence conference, which what was that? That was a conference to draft Bernie into starting a brand new party. And she said, yeah, you know the big reason I'm here? I am a progressive person. I think we need single-payer healthcare. I think we need living wages. Of course, I'm behind all those things. But the biggest reason I'm here is because climate change in our environment, we are wrecking it. And nobody listens to us. Republicans don't listen to us. Democrats will just listen to us and then ignore us. We have no representation. We are an afterthought. They shoot first and ask later when it comes to anything. When it comes to drilling through mountains, paving pipelines through mountains, fracking, you name it. You don't need to have a scientific background to know what we're doing is dangerous and could have irreversible, tragic effects. You just need to talk to somebody in that community. They'll tell you, yeah, they ignore us. If you know, okay, when we put through policy in the United States, we listen to oil and gas companies first and scientists later. Isn't that enough? You don't need to be a scientist. Well, I don't really know all the science. You don't need to. You just need to know, hey, they listen to these people first, business people that want to exploit our environment and drill. They would drill in your eyeballs if they could. And they listen to these people, the scientists, doing peer-reviewed science, saying, hey, this shit's dangerous. They listen to them last. The scientists to listen to first are the scientists that are bought out by those oil and gas companies. That's what they do. Here's another for instance of that. Hey, we did this particular thing with this pipeline. It caused an explosion. We probably shouldn't do the same thing again. No, we're going to do it. Why? Our bottom line. Unreal. So they're just not learning from their mistakes. That's exactly what's happening here.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your